Hi, my name is Dana Russell, and I am an Educational Technology Master's student, the MAET program at Michigan State University. I'm coming to you from the Makerspace within the library at the National University of Ireland in Galway, where I've been hanging out for the past couple of weeks, developing some really cool stuff. So for the past few weeks, I've been working with both the Makerspace staff and the staff at the Galway Atlantaquaria to try and develop an activity that they could use on their aquarium floor and within lessons that would be something that would hold up, wouldn't break, and would teach something. So I got to talking with the aquarium staff, and the idea that we settled upon was based upon this lesson called How to Read a Fish, which was originally written by a woman called Margaret Olson. It's a pretty classic marine science lesson. The gist of this lesson, so you're given pictures of fish based on the shapes of various parts of the fish. You kind of figure out, what do you think this fish does? The problem with this original lesson is it's literally two-dimensional. You're just looking at pictures of fish. You're usually just looking at them from one side. And I found that historically doing it with students, they've had a little bit of trouble kind of spatially understanding what some of those different fish parts look like. I tried to solve this within my own classroom by developing a lesson where students kind of shape fish out of clay, so they get to choose the different fish parts and things like that and sculpt it. But when you just kind of give some kids some clay and full creative freedom, sometimes they can kind of miss the finer points of what you wanted them to figure out. So because the aquarium wanted to be able to do this as a quick lesson, and they specifically wanted it developed for middle school students, we came up with the idea of 3D designing some different fish parts that would work almost like a Mr. Potato Head, like switch out different fish parts in order to build your ideal fish. So, in order to do that, I sat down within the Makerspace. I spent some time 3D designing different fish bodies that I could stretch to different dimensions, as well as 3D designing some different caudal tails, some different dorsal fins, and a mouth that can be put in different positions, and all of them can magnetize to the models now, which is pretty cool. So I want to show you what the different fish bodies look like, and then I'll demonstrate how this activity works. So we have a bunch of different fish bodies. This first one is called globiform. So this is going to be kind of like your puffer fish, lump sucker, kind of like blob-like fish. This next one is called anguilliform, which means eel-shaped. So this is going to be kind of your long and skinny guys. So pretty much all of your eels, lampreys, hagfish, what have you. This guy here is called fusiform. So this is a shape that makes you super fast. This is going to be like your tunas, your bass, your marlin, a lot of like open water fish. We have compressiform. So this is going to be a lot of your reef fish, so a surgeonfish, a butterfly fish, an angelfish, dory, as the kids always say. So you can see it's like flattened this way. And then finally, we have this guy called depressiform. So you can see it's squished this way. So this is going to be your skates, stingrays, flounders, things like that. I have a little mouth that I've developed. So here's a mouth. I only developed one mouth because I have 3 different positions where the mouth can go. So on any given fish, there's a position where the mouth is right in front of it in a position called terminal. There's a position where the mouth points up called superior. And there's a position where the mouth points down called inferior. So that's our mouth. For our dorsal fins, I have a variety of different shapes. We have this big triangle guy, which can either be like a big shark fin, or you can rotate it and have it kind of a longer thing facing backwards. There are 3 different positions intended for the dorsal fins. There's lots of mix and match. We have this nice rounded dorsal fin, which goes on like that. We have this parallelogram shape of dorsal fin, which can go on like that. Or we have this like little triangle dorsal fin, which can go on like that. In any of the 3 positions, you have the option of anywhere between 0 and 3 dorsal fins. I also have a couple of different shapes of caudal fin. Caudal is the fancy word for tail. So I'm going to show you a couple of those. This guy's called forked. It's meant for swimming really fast. So again, goes on. Now I have this fat, fast fish, which is not that likely, but hey, in the world of our dream fish, we can do whatever we want. We have this guy, which is called a heterocaudal, or heterosorsal, excuse me, because of the lobes being 2 different shapes. That can again just go on. We have this guy, which is called a lunate, kind of moon-shaped, good for swimming fast again. We have this squarish guy, which is called truncated, and that's good for kind of a strong swimmer, so this would maybe be more appropriate for a little puffer fish guy. And we have a rounded, which is really just good for stabilizing yourself in the water. You can't go very fast with this one. And then finally, we have this guy, which is pointed, which is mostly just good for kind of an eel-shaped body kind of moving like that. So I'm going to go ahead, I've been playing with this guy, so I'm going to go ahead and turn him into a puffer fish. Let's say we want a puffer fish that's a really good swimmer. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab this truncated fin. So it's going to make us slow but strong. With this body shape, I can kind of assume this fish is never going to be that fast, but I could make it a strong swimmer. Thinking about what a puffer fish looks like, they tend not to have any dorsal fins, so I'm not going to add any. If I did want to add one, I maybe would add like this little rounded guy near the back, but I'm going to choose not to, and that's well within my choice within the activity. Then finally, I'm going to add a mouth. Pufferfish are mostly going to eat stuff that's directly in front of them, so I'm going to put my mouth in the center. There you have it, my little puffer fish. So that's an example of how this activity can go. There's a lot of different iterations you can use for this activity. You could show kids a picture of a fish and have them design it. You could give them a challenge, so make a fish that's going to be fast and good at turning, make a fish that can hide in crevices, make a fish that's really good at hunting stuff that's above them. You could have a whole bunch of different challenges for kids to pick out. Or finally, you can just give them all the parts and let them go crazy and then have them interpret what they built. So you built this fish with all these different parts. What is your fish good at? How do you know your fish is good at that? What would your fish look like outside of this model? So there's plenty of room for making this fit pretty much anywhere and anything. So I hope you liked the lesson. I encourage you to go and download the files, try 3D printing for yourself, and if you do use it, please let me know how it goes. My contact information will be in the comments of this video. Thank you.